Corey here with the Spiritual Archaeologist channel, and I've been on this kick lately about learning how to listen to the dead and stuff. So today the dig we're going on is we are digging up the treasures of Bill. Bill is somebody I knew, and he passed away, and we had a lot of interaction after he passed. So I'd love to share this story with you. It was very interesting. I was at the time, it was quite a few years ago now, I was opening a little shop and I was faux finishing the walls. I was giving them all this wild paint job, and I was struggling with the paint. It just wasn't going the way I had envisioned it, you know. And one morning I went to this yard sale on the way to paint my little shop, and I got this brand new pack of really pretty flowered stationery. And I got it for $1. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. So I took it to my shop and threw it in the cabinet and got to work painting. Well, it didn't even take a half hour. I'm up on the ladder and I can feel this guy. I can feel this guy. And it's funny because I love the band America. And I was playing my iPod that day and America was on and Tin Man was on. And that song was So Bill. And here he comes. Here he comes to visit me. So I'm on the ladder painting and he's all, hey, I really want to talk to you, you know. And this was within a couple weeks of him passing, if even that much. And when he passed, we were not on good terms. We were not on good terms for a few years before he passed, and we sure weren't on good terms when he passed. We had parted ways. And he's a sober friend of mine. He was. And he helped me a lot. And but there, you know, we had, of course, no romantic relationship. He's married, I have my relationship, and it was nothing like that. Okay, so it was egos. It was an ego clashing friendship, if you can understand that, which I'm sure you can. So I'm on this ladder painting, and he's like, look, you know, I owe you an amends. I really messed up with, and he went down this list of things. And secretly, I had been waiting for years for him to apologize to me and own what he did, how he treated me. And because I made a lot of amends to him, well, not a lot, I made 2 or 3 to him when he was here. I took responsibility for my behavior immediately, and he never did that. And, you know, don't hold your breath for somebody to apologize. That's all I can say, or you'll be turning blue. But anyway, so I'm on this ladder, and he is going down this list of all these things that I had to get an apology from this person after he died. Which, again, is so typical of my experiences. So I was grateful for it. And he said, you know, I really need something. I'm really worried about my wife. She's going to isolate. She's not going to leave the house. I need you to write her a letter. It's very important that you write her a letter. And I'm like, no, you know, your wife and I don't get along, and I'm not putting myself in her presence. I'm not doing it. So I'm arguing with a ghost, which is another thing that's typical of my life experiences. And you know what he tells me? Oh, you don't even have to worry about that. We're in the book. So I pull out the yellow pages. Boom. There's the name and there's the address. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. So if I can send it in the mail, I will do it. And that's precisely what I ended up doing. But it was really funny. So he's like, you know, I had told you earlier, I put this stationery in the cabinet, right? And he's telling me, you need to get down right now and get that stationery out of that cabinet, or you're going to forget it. You will forget it and leave it here. Put it in front of the door, please. And I'm all, no, I'm working. I am working. I have a lot of work to do. And he's all, please, if you just get down and get that stationery and put it in front of the door, I will help you paint for the rest of the day. So I growled, and then agreed. So I got the stupid stationery out and I put it in front of the door, and the rest of the day went smoother than any time I've had on that darn job since I started it. So thank you, Bill. Another thing he did, so I did that, and he kept asking me throughout, it was probably a few weeks time where him and I were interacting. And they tend to follow me around for a while, which is fine. I know they're there. I can feel it. And I've always had my rules followed. So it's okay with me if they follow me from place to place and hang out, especially if they're trying to get their grounding where they're at, which another person told me that happens. I want to be there for them to be able to reach their comfort zone. So, you know, he stuck with me for a few weeks, and he would flitter in and flitter out, whatever. And he was really hung up on, please don't speak ill of me. Please do not speak ill of me. And I was speaking ill of him, and I had been. And, you know, I'm sure I wasn't the only one. I'm not making excuses, but I'm sure I wasn't the only one. I'm sure I was being spoken ill of too. You know when you are. And so that was hard for me. It was hard for me to agree to that. And I stumbled a few times, but, you know, I was like, I really came around to trying to respect his wish. And the fact that he was so hung up on it just goes to show that we take some of our concerns with us, and we take some of our personality with us. So I found that very enlightening. I always learn so much from them. So I get the stationary home, right? And a couple days go by, and you know, I'm not wanting to do this for him. I agreed, but these are not people that I felt safe around or good around or any of that. And I was very reluctant to get it done. And he kept bugging me. Bug, bug, bug. Have you ever seen the movie The Ghost where Patrick Swayze is singing I am, whatever that stupid song is, and Whoopi Goldberg's in bed trying to sleep and he won't leave her alone? That's kind of how it was. So finally I said, all right, damn it. I'm getting the stationery out. And I put it on the table and I got a pen and he wrote the letter. It was such a moving, wonderful experience. He stood behind me and telepathically told me what words to put down. And I didn't even have to do anything. I just played secretary. I didn't have to think about it or any of that stuff. And I folded it up, sealed it up, you know, signed, sealed, and delivered it. And then within a month of that happening, you know, he hung out for a while after that, and then he kind of flitted out of my life and didn't come back, you know. I mean, we had concluded our business and our amends and all that stuff, and we left it on good terms, and it was really cool. But I sent that letter out to his wife, and I ran into her within a month after sending the letter to her. I ran into her at the grocery store, and doesn't it figure, her and I are the only two people in this aisle in the grocery store, and it's really hard to avoid each other, right? So I walked up to her and I said hi, and she put her arms out, and I stepped into her embrace, and we gave each other a hug, and she said, thank you so much for the letter. It meant so much to me to get that letter. Thank you. And I told her, you're welcome. And we haven't had a relationship since. I've probably seen her maybe 2 or 3 times since then, and by now it's been around 5 years. We just are not in the same circles, so we don't run into each other. But I was able to do that for him, and I'm glad that I agreed, because I really gave him a hard time about it for quite a while. And, you know, peace came to them because I allowed him to use me to make that peace happen. So that's Digging Up the Treasures of Bill. And I hope you enjoyed this dig. I love to reminisce about these people. You know, something about Bill, and he really helped me to he was a sober friend of mine, and he was in a circle of sober friends of mine. And it took me 20 years to get 14. I was in and out of sobriety for 6 years before I finally figured it out. And when I figured it out, and I quote, this is what he said to me word for word, I came in again, I drank again, and I went to go see my sober friends again. And there he was, and he looked at me and said, quote, you are fucked and you are gonna die. And the only question is, who are you gonna take with you? And when he said that to me that day, you know, because we delude ourselves as alcoholics and drug addicts. We delude ourselves into thinking that we're only hurting ourselves. And it's all a bunch of bull, okay? We're hurting everybody around us. And we're making everybody that's really close to us sick. You know, it just infiltrates our entire lives. And when he said that, it really punched me right in the face, which is what I needed, with the fact that, who are you going to kill? And we knew a guy, Greg and I, who was in and out of sobriety, and he went out and he was drunk driving, and he passed a car on a blind curve and hit a family, a husband, a wife, and all three of their kids. All three of their kids were under like 12 years old, 12 or 13 years old, and he killed them all, and himself. And when Bill said that to me, I was like, that I thought of Eric. Eric was the guy's name. And I thought, boy, you know what, I better straighten up. And I did. He helped me put the plug in the jug like nobody else did. So I hope you enjoyed this dig. I may be sitting in this chair going on this dig with you today, thanks partly to Bill, for sure, for him telling me that. And if you like this dig, please give me a thumbs up down below. And if you want to come on more digs with me, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day.